Ooh, look who's back. It's my favorite flavor of free-range land shrimp, Earthlings. Haha. In this video, we've compiled our first 10 episodes of videos with absolutely zero intellectual value, also known as pop culture trivia. For those of you who spend more time on TikTok than you do actually reading, here you go.
Greetings, skeletal meatbags. Melvin here, broadcasting live from Soralunia. You're watching BTV, where I quiz, you sweat, and everyone questions your education. In today's magnificent video, I hammer you with a plethora of mind-melting, life-altering, and unimportant questions based around pop culture. Yes, that wonderful category about things you didn't realize you remembered, but absolutely nothing important. There will be no levels of difficulty in this one, just a barrage of 60 questions spanning decades from the 1960s to the 2020s. So, depending on your age, you may need to reboot some of that dormant grey matter to stand a chance. Let's get started. Keep track on how many, if any, you get right, and we'll see you at the end. Who directed the 1968 science fiction film 2001: A Space Odyssey? Stanley Kubrick. Which Seattle-based band is considered a pioneer of the grunge movement? Nirvana. What was the name of the photo-sharing social media app that was acquired by Facebook in 2012? Instagram. What is the name of the popular Netflix series about a young chess prodigy? The Queen's Gambit. What was the name of the iconic car driven by Steve McQueen in the 1968 film Bullitt? (1968) Ford Mustang GT. Which TV series, based on a series of fantasy novels by George R.R. Martin, became a cultural phenomenon? Game of Thrones. What was the name of the popular family sitcom that tackled controversial issues, starring Carol O'Connor as Archie Bunker? All in the Family. What was the name of the first man to walk on the moon in 1969? Neil Armstrong. What was the name of the space shuttle that tragically exploded shortly after takeoff in 1986? The Challenger. What is the largest continent in the world? Asia. What was the name of the fictional paper company in the TV show The Office? Dunder Mifflin. Who created and hosted the TV series The Twilight Zone? Rod Serling. What was the name of the charity single recorded by a supergroup of American artists to raise money for famine relief in Africa? We Are the World. What was the name of the popular collectible card game that was introduced in 1993? Magic: The Gathering. This one's so obscure, even I had to Google it. and I am Google. What was the name of the high school in the John Hughes film The Breakfast Club? Shermer High School. Who wrote the 1960 novel To Kill a Mockingbird? Harper Lee. What was the name of the iconic music festival held in 1969? Woodstock. What was the name of the popular handheld electronic game that involved matching patterns of lights and sounds? Simon. What is the longest-running animated series in US television history? The Simpsons. Who painted the Mona Lisa? Leonardo da Vinci. What was the name of the popular mobile game that involved flinging birds at pigs? Angry Birds. What is the name of the annual fashion event held in New York City? The Met Gala. Who co-founded Apple Inc. with Steve Jobs? Steve Wozniak. Which iconic musician died in 1977 at the age of 42? Elvis Presley. What was the name of the 2015 film that rebooted the Mad Max franchise? Mad Max: Fury Road. Which TV show followed the adventures of a crime-fighting car named Kit? Knight Rider. What was the name of the talking horse in the 1960s sitcom of the same name? Mr. Ed. Which video game, released in 1980, featured a yellow puck-shaped character eating dots in a maze? Pac-Man. What is the name of the South Korean drama series that became a global hit on Netflix in 2021, in which contestants play deadly children's games? Squid Game. What was the name of the popular video game where players controlled a frog trying to cross a busy road and a river? Frogger.
Oh, that's just bloody brilliant, isn't it?
What is the most watched sporting event in the world? The FIFA World Cup. If you know this obscure one, I'll actually be impressed and also suspicious. Who played the role of the quirky and intelligent intern, Meredith Grey, in the medical drama Grey's Anatomy? Ellen Pompeo. What was the name of the popular TV series about a brilliant but antisocial detective who solves crimes in modern-day London? Sherlock. What was the name of the popular reality TV show that featured contestants competing in various challenges on a remote island? Survivor. What was the name of the popular hairstyle that was short in the front and on the sides and long in the back? The mullet. What was the name of the first video game to achieve widespread commercial success? Pong. Which female artist was known as the Queen of Pop in the 1980s? Madonna. What was the name of the video sharing app that saw a massive surge in popularity in 2020? TikTok. Who wrote the epic space opera novels that the Star Wars films are based on? George Lucas. He wrote the original story and screenplay. What was the name of the popular video game that features a battle royale mode where 100 players fight to be the last one standing? Fortnite. Who wrote the best-selling series of children's fantasy novels, Harry Potter? J.K. Rowling. What fashion item, popularized by Mary Quant, became a symbol of the swinging 60s? The miniskirt. What was the name of the popular word-guessing game that was acquired by the New York Times in 2022? Wordle. What was the name of the popular meme that featured a distracted boyfriend looking at another woman? The distracted boyfriend meme. Oh, the originality is staggering. Who created the popular video game Tetris? Alexei Pajitnov. What was the name of the car in the Batman television series? The Batmobile. That question was so easy, it practically answered itself. Which 1984 film featured the iconic line, "I'll be back"? The Terminator. What was the name of the first reality TV show to become a massive global franchise in which contestants are isolated in a house? Big Brother. What was the name of the character played by Eddie Murphy in the Beverly Hills Cop films? Axel Foley. What was the name of the popular toy that consisted of small, beanie-filled animals? Beanie Babies. All right, players. For those of you who haven't given up on this pop culture cerebral smackdown, here are the last 10 questions. Enjoy. Who starred as the titular character in the film Edward Scissorhands? Johnny Depp. What was the name of the toy that consisted of a rock in a cardboard box, which became a surprising fad? Pet rock. Honestly, if you missed that, we need to check your oxygen supply. Which band released the iconic album Rumours in 1977? Fleetwood Mac. In what year did the first episode of Star Trek The Original Series air? (1966). Who wrote the 1971 horror novel The Exorcist? William Peter Blatty. Which TV series followed the lives of the wealthy and dysfunctional Bluth family? Arrested Development. And for a bonus point, where was the money hidden? In the banana stand. Which musical, created by Lin-Manuel Miranda, became a Broadway smash hit? Hamilton. Which artist released the surprise albums Folklore and Evermore in 2020? Taylor Swift. And our last question for today. What was the name of the first music video ever played on MTV in 1981? Video killed the radio star by the Buggles.
So as your species sometimes says, that's a wrap. I've recorded your performance and beamed it back to Soralunia for research. Spoiler, the results are not great. But you can redeem yourself. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Or I'll assume you don't care about your species' intellectual future. Farewell, underachievers. Until next time, don't forget to hydrate. Whatever that does for your kind. Melvin, out! Welcome back to BTV, Carbon Clumps. I'm Melvin from the glorious planet of Soralunia, your host for Brainiac's Trivia Vortex, the only show where ignorance is the prize. It's time once again to dial up some pop culture questions and see if those comatose cortexes have any compute power left in them. Let's get right to it, shall we? What 1977 film is often credited with launching the blockbuster era? Star Wars. What was the name of the viral dance craze that took over the internet in 2012, based on a song by Psy? Gangnam Style. Who created the comic strip Calvin and Hobbes? Bill Watterson. What was the name of the TV show about a meth-making high school teacher that concluded in 2013? Breaking Bad. Which pop star famously had a wardrobe malfunction during the 2004 Super Bowl halftime show? Janet Jackson. What is the longest river in the world? The Nile River. What was the name of the social media challenge that involved people pouring buckets of ice water over their heads to raise awareness for ALS? The Ice Bucket Challenge. What was the name of the popular sitcom about 4 older women living together in Miami? The Golden Girls. Which South Korean film made history by winning the Academy Award for Best Picture in 2020? Parasite. What was the name of the search engine that was founded in 1998 and would go on to dominate the internet? Google. Which Motown group had a string of hits including My Girl and Ain't Too Proud to Beg? The Temptations. What was the name of the talk show host who became a cultural phenomenon in the 1980s? Oprah Winfrey. Who directed the 1979 science fiction horror film Alien? Ridley Scott. Which film, released in 1997, became the highest-grossing film of all time until it was surpassed by Avatar? Titanic. What was the name of the Beatles' first album? Please Please Me. Who was the first host of Saturday Night Live when it premiered in 1975? George Carlin. What 1982 album by Michael Jackson became the best-selling album of all time? Thriller. Which girl group, known for their girl power mantra, became a global phenomenon in the 1990s? The Spice Girls. Which actress starred as Katniss Everdeen in the Hunger Games film series? Jennifer Lawrence. Who headlined the 2023 Super Bowl halftime show? Rihanna. Who hosted the Some Good News web series from his home during the pandemic? John Krasinski. What was the name of the popular TV show that featured a bar where everybody knows your name? Cheers.
You're about as useful as a screen door on a submarine.
Who developed the theory of relativity? Albert Einstein. Which film, based on a series of young adult novels, sparked a vampire craze in the late 2000s? Twilight. Who sang the iconic song Respect? Aretha Franklin. Which TV show set in New York City
followed the lives of 6 friends. Friends.
Which artist's 2019 album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go, won the Grammy for Album of the Year?
Billie Eilish. What was the name of the first color television network in the United States? NBC. What was the name of the popular CB radio slang for yes or I understand? "10-4". Who directed the 1993 film Jurassic Park? Steven Spielberg. Which artist released the 2016 visual album Lemonade? Beyoncé. Who sang the 1971 hit American Pie? Don McLean. What was the name of the first commercially successful first-person shooter video game released in 1993? Doom. What was the name of the political scandal that led to the resignation of President Richard Nixon in 1974? Watergate. What was the name of the handheld digital pet that was a massive fad in the late 1990s? Tamagotchi. Who played the role of Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean film series? Johnny Depp. What was the name of the portable music player introduced by Apple in 2001? iPod. Which legendary boxer reclaimed the heavyweight title in the Rumble in the Jungle against George Foreman? Muhammad Ali. Which actress won the Best Actress Oscar for her role in Mary Poppins? Julie Andrews. What was the name of the popular video game console introduced by Nintendo in 2006 that featured motion controls? Wii. What was the name of the iconic hairstyle popularized by Farrah Fawcett in the TV series Charlie's Angels? The Farrah Fawcett Flip. What was the name of the popular app that allowed users to create and share short looping videos? Vine. Which country artist had a massive crossover hit with the song Before He Cheats? Carrie Underwood. What was the name of the computer operating system launched by Microsoft in 1995 that featured a start button? Windows 95.
Which sitcom starred Michael J. Fox as a young Republican with hippie parents? Family Ties. Which TV series, set in a luxurious Hawaiian resort, became a critically acclaimed hit for HBO? The White Lotus. What was the name of the fictional high school in the TV series Beverly Hills 90210? West Beverly Hills High School. What was the name of the first space shuttle to launch in 1981? Columbia. Which artist released the record-breaking album 21 in 2011? Adele. Who wrote the 1986 horror novel It? Stephen King. What was the name of the Netflix documentary series that focused on the life of exotic animal keeper Joe Exotic? Tiger King. What was the name of the dance style that became hugely popular in the 1970s, heavily influenced by the film Saturday Night Fever? Disco. What was the name of the tough-talking detective played by Clint Eastwood in the Dirty Harry films? Harry Callahan. What was the first names of the futuristic family in the cartoon series The Jetsons? George, Jane, Judy, and Elroy. What was the name of the dance move popularized by the song Macarena? The Macarena.
Even my lava lamp could have nailed that one.
Who starred as the iconic Holly Golightly in the 1961 film Breakfast at Tiffany's? Audrey Hepburn. Which Christopher Nolan film featured a dream-stealing heist? Inception. Which pop star embarked on the record-breaking The Eras Tour in 2023? Taylor Swift. What 1994 film starring Tom Hanks won the Academy Award for Best Picture? Forrest Gump. What was the name of the popular TV show that followed the lives of the eccentric Rose family who lose their fortune? Schitt's Creek. Which Alfred Hitchcock thriller, released in 1960, is famous for its shocking shower scene? Psycho. The fall of what famous wall in 1989 symbolized the end of the Cold War? The Berlin Wall. What is the name of the 2021 film that is a prequel to the Disney classic 101 Dalmatians? Cruella. What was the name of the popular video game that allowed players to live a simulated life? The Sims. Who became the first African-American president of the United States in 2009? Barack Obama. Who painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel? Michelangelo. What was the name of the popular sketch comedy show that launched the careers of Jim Carrey, the Wayans siblings, and Jennifer Lopez? In Living Color. What was the name of the sheep that was the first mammal to be successfully cloned? Dolly. Who is the founder of Amazon? Jeff Bezos. What was the name of the toy dolls that came with adoption papers? Cabbage Patch Kids. Who played the title role in the 1972 film The Godfather? Marlon Brando. What was the name of the animated film that won the first ever Academy Award for Best Animated Feature? Shrek. Who sang the 1966 hit, "These Boots Are Made for Walking"? Nancy Sinatra. What was the name of the popular TV series about a dysfunctional family of superheroes? The Umbrella Academy. Who wrote the classic novel 1984? George Orwell.
That's it for today's BTV quizzes. I hope your neurons got a workout and didn't pull a hamstring.
If you enjoy being publicly humiliated by questions, go ahead and like, subscribe, and ding that little bell so we can do it again soon. I'll wait here, judging you silently, as I go through all your scores to determine whether your species is salvageable. Be sure to comment how many you got right, unless you're afraid of being outscored by a Sorolunian houseplant. Farewell, my simple meat-based processors. Melvin, out!
Welcome back to another face-melting onslaught of pop culture mayhem.
But first, let's get one thing straight. I'm Melvin. I'm not Regis. This isn't Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, because frankly, most of you don't deserve lunch money. And no, there are no lifelines, just your brain, which is unfortunate, really. Shall we get to roasting it in a fine wine of trivia? Let's begin. On which late 80s television show did The Simpsons first debut with the animated short Good Night? The Tracy Ullman Show? Before Facebook, there was MySpace. Before MySpace, there was... Friendster. In the 1991 movie Thelma and Louise, who plays the part of Louise? Susan Sarandon. What is the average weight of a human adult brain? 3 pounds, approximately 1.36 kilograms. What legendary rock band's drummer was nicknamed Bonzo? Led Zeppelin. In 1984, fast food chain Wendy's launched an ad campaign asking what question?
It certainly is a big bun.
It's a very big bun.
Big fluffy bun.
It's a very big fluffy bun.
Where's the beef? Where's the beef? Hey, where's the beef? I don't think there's anybody back there.
What novel did Universal Studios pay Michael Crichton $2 million for before it was even published? Jurassic Park. What actor played the role of T-1000 in the movie Terminator 2? Robert Patrick. What was the original brand of cereal pitched by Busby? Honey Nut Cheerios. Who recorded the song Material Girl? Madonna. Which beer is from the land of sky blue waters? Hams. How did Alice get into the land of the living chess pieces? Through the looking glass. The US boycotted the 1980 Olympics to protest what Soviet action? Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. Vegemite, a type of sandwich spread, is comprised mainly of what? Brewer's yeast. What pop star's first and middle names are Catherine Dawn? K.D. Lang. What talk show opens with the Hot Topics rundown? The View. Who played the Godfather in the movie The Godfather? Marlon Brando. What company produced the Brownie camera? Kodak. What was Van Halen's first and only #1 hit on the US Billboard singles chart? Jump. What does the Energizer Bunny wear on his feet? Flip-flops. Which hockey team did Wayne Gretzky play for in the 1980s? Edmonton Oilers. Who plays the role of Martin Riggs in the Lethal Weapon movie series? Mel Gibson. Jackie Robinson became famous for breaking the color barrier in what sport? Baseball. Who was the second president of the US? John Adams. What are the names of Disney's 7 dwarfs? Dopey, Grumpy, Sleepy, Sneezy, Happy, Bashful and Doc. What volcano did the early Romans believe was the forge of Vulcan, the god of fire? Mount Etna. Where was Keanu Reeves born? Beirut, Lebanon. Which deceased author has sold the most books? Dr. Seuss, Theodore Seuss Geisel. A fan of flesh and fava beans, what movie creep was named the American Film Institute's top villain of all time? Hannibal Lecter. What American folk hero was a real-life Tennessee congressman? Davy Crockett. What does Bruce Springsteen have tucked in his back pocket on the cover of Born in the USA? A baseball cap. What is typically considered to be the earliest mass-produced brand of hot sauce? Tabasco. Kevin Spacey plays Francis Underwood in what Netflix original series? House of Cards. What is the number of the Mobile Army Surgical Hospital in MASH? (407/7). What annual event originated from the tradition of Candlemas? Groundhog Day. Johns Hopkins University is located where? Baltimore, Maryland. NASCAR is an abbreviation for what? National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing. Who are the three chipmunks in the virtual band Alvin and the Chipmunks? Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. Vodka and coffee liqueur make what cocktail? A Black Russian. The first version of the Twisted Metal video game was what year? (1995). Jimi Hendrix was once late for a bus and got fired. By whom? Little Richard. In the TV show Gunsmoke, who portrayed the blacksmith, Quint Asper? Burt Reynolds. What did Harry Houdini die from on Halloween in 1926? Ruptured appendix. What was the lead single from Sammy Hagar's 1984 album VOA? I Can't Drive 55. What popular snack food was invented in Italy in 610 AD and was shaped to look like a child's arms are folded in prayer? The pretzel. What plant is traditionally worn on St. Patrick's Day? Shamrock, young clover. What organization unveiled the largest machine on Earth in 2008? CERN. At what US city did Bugs Bunny traditionally lament taking a left turn? Albuquerque. Whose movie debut was opposite Humphrey Bogart in 1944's To Have and Have Not? Lauren Bacall. A cappella is an Italian term that means what? In the manner of the chapel. In the show The Office, what is the name of Michael Scott's self-written action movie script? Threat Level Midnight. The original TV show Star Trek aired for how many seasons? Three. Who sang the #1 hit song Reunited, released in 1979? Peaches and Herb. Your village idiot just called to resign, citing that he can't compete with you. What is the name of Spain's famous cold soup made mostly from tomatoes? Gazpacho. In what year did the Sydney Opera House officially open? (1973). What Hollywood director had a small role in the movie The Blues Brothers? Steven Spielberg, as the Cook County Assessor's Clerk. Under what name did Eric Cartman appear as a calculus teacher in an inner-city school in Season 12 of South Park? Eric Cartmanes. What lyrical song character wears a face that she keeps in a jar by the door? Eleanor Rigby. Which viral disease did Louis Pasteur develop a vaccine for? Rabies. In what year did the first season of King of the Hill air on Fox? (1997). Which university did Bill Gates drop out of to start his own company? Harvard. According to a famous SNL catchphrase, what's the only prescription for Christopher Walken's fever?
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
What infamous gangster was betrayed by the Lady in Red? John Dillinger. What Sanskrit word do Buddhists use to refer to the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth? Samsara. What is the only king in a traditional deck of cards without a moustache? King of Hearts. What is the name of Marty's band in the film Back to the Future? The Pinheads. What was the family name of circus showmen Al, Alfred, John, Otto, and Charles? Ringling. What fast food chain uses the slogan, "We have the meats"? Arby's. What Canadian singer was married to Mutt Lange? Shania Twain. Possibly the first video game developed simply for entertainment, Tennis for Two, was created in what year? (1958). What is the Voight-Kampffy machine in the movie Blade Runner? A lie detector. What duo published the story of Hansel and Gretel in 1812? The Brothers Grimm. Created in the UK in 1840, what was commonly known as a penny black? The first adhesive postage stamp. Safety Dance was a hit for which band? Men Without Hats. Who provides the voice for Lisa Simpson on The Simpsons? Yeardley Smith. Astounding! Hopefully you made it to the end without drooling on your device. Celebrate this rare achievement. Smash like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Assuming you can still form sentences. Be well, my little science projects. Melvin. Out!
Ah, Earthlings. I see you're back for another round of mental gymnastics. More like mental tripping or interpretive dance, really. This isn't Jeopardy. And I'm certainly no Alex Trebek. I'm taller, smarter, and I don't need note cards. Trebek asked questions in the form of an answer. I ask questions in anticipation of your inevitable doom. Today's mental anvil drop comes in the form of the loose change equivalent of trivia, pop culture. Let's get to it.
Who had a hit with Oops, I Did It Again? Britney Spears. What shaving brand introduced the slogan, "The best a man can get"? Gillette. Who were the two main actors in the TV sitcom Mork and Mindy? Robin Williams and Pam Dawber. Which Canadian rock group recorded "Takin' Care of Business"? Bachman Turner Overdrive. What group released Waterfalls in 1995? TLC. Who wrote the dystopian novel 1984? George Orwell. Who painted The Starry Night? Vincent van Gogh. What year did singer Whitney Houston die? (2012). Who performs the guest guitar solo on Michael Jackson's Beat It? Eddie Van Halen. Which TV show popularized the catchphrase Bazinga? The Big Bang Theory. Which musical group was known as the Fab Four? The Beatles. In the movie The Wizard of Oz, what does the Tin Man want from the wizard? A heart. In the Star Wars universe, what is the name of Han Solo's iconic ship? The Millennium Falcon. Who played Norman Bates in the 1998 remake of Psycho? Vince Vaughn. Which rock band was fronted by Freddie Mercury? Queen. What famed TV personality wrote the first draft screenplay for 1968's Planet of the Apes? Rod Serling. Which Dr. Seuss character is the one who speaks for the trees? The Lorax. What scary movie vehicle was driven by Arnie Cunningham? Christine, a 1958 Plymouth Fury. Which country is famous for inventing pizza? Italy. In what city is the TV series Cheers set? Boston. What is the brand name of the time-traveling car used in the Back to the Future trilogy? DeLorean. Which author wrote the novel The Pelican Brief, published in 1992? John Grisham. How many players are there on a standard soccer team on the field? (11) Who is Sonic the Hedgehog's sidekick? Miles Tails Prower. Who was the actor who played Charles in the movie 4 Weddings and a Funeral? Hugh Grant. What was the name of the toy terrorizing Kid from the 1995 movie Toy Story? Sid. What was the nickname of the Ford Mustang featured in the 1974 film Gone in 60 Seconds? Eleanor. Who directed the 1979 sci-fi/horror film Alien? Ridley Scott. What TV mystery series was set in the fictional town of Cabot Cove, Maine? Murder, She Wrote. How many double stitches are there on a regulation baseball? (108). What is the name of the animated pig in the Toy Story film series? Ham. What kind of bird is Wallace and Gromit's nemesis, Feathers McGraw? A penguin. Who played the role of Cyrus the Virus in the movie Con Air? John Malkovich. What Sofia Coppola movie is set in Tokyo? Lost in Translation. Originally created and manufactured as a wallpaper cleaner in the 1930s, what became a popular children's product in the 1950s? Play-Doh. The 1983 horror film Cujo featured what kind of animal? A rabid Saint Bernard dog. What country is the origin of the car brand Saab? Sweden. What is the name of the fictional yellow creature who is the mascot for the Pokémon franchise? Pikachu. Which artist painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel? Michelangelo. Actress Charlize Theron portrayed which real-life person in the 2003 film Monster? Eileen Wuornos. On the Ren and Stimpy show, what toy is advertised that rolls downstairs, alone or in pairs? Log from Blammo. What year was John Lennon shot and killed in New York City? December 8, 1980. Why must Leonard tattoo notes on himself and take Polaroids in the film Memento? He has no short-term memory. What pop star's fans are famed for wearing grass skirts and doing the fin dance at shows? Jimmy Buffett's. Eric Burdon was the frontman of what two 1960s bands? The Animals and War. Heather O'Rourke was best known for her role in what movie franchise? Poltergeist. They're here. James Charles Marshall founded what tinnitus-inducing company in 1962? Marshall Amplification. Marshall Guitar Amps. Which pop group was initially named the Pendletones? The Beach Boys. Which toy released in 1996 asked players to respond to a series of commands by pressing, pulling, twisting, or otherwise manipulating the toy? Bop It. The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends, commonly referred to as simply Rocky and Bullwinkle, first aired in what year? (1959). What album by Michael Jackson is the best-selling album of all time worldwide? Thriller. Which character from The Simpsons tries to kill Bart Simpson on many occasions? Sideshow Bob. Please stop drooling on the carpet. In the video game Mario Kart, the power-up that seeks out the player in first position and explodes on impact is a shell that is what color? Blue and spiky. What is the name of the high school in the movie Grease? Rydell High School. What brand of snacks was comedian Jay Leno shilling in the late 1980s? Doritos. In the sitcom Seinfeld, what is Jerry's apartment number? (5A). What luxury music festival failed to launch in 2017, resulting in stranded patrons and lawsuits? Fire Festival. What is the name of the newspaper where Peter Parker works as a photographer in Spider-Man? The Daily Bugle. What 1984 rat hit featured a cross-dressing Milton Berle in its video? Round and Round. In what year did the first Star Wars movie premiere? (1977). Who invented Lego blocks? Danish carpenter Ole Kirk Christensen. Who wrote the 1985 novel The Handmaid's Tale? Margaret Atwood. What video game franchise features characters like Sub-Zero and Scorpion? Mortal Kombat. What 2004 comedy film stars Lindsay Lohan as Katie Heron, a new high school student? Mean Girls.
Alex Trebek is spinning in his perfectly articulated grave.
Robert James Fisher was a grandmaster player of what game? Chess. Which artist left the boy band One Direction in 2015 to pursue a solo career? Zayn Malik. What are the names of the 4 ghosts in Pac-Man? Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. In what year did the first Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival take place? (1999). What movie features the famous line, "You can't handle the truth"? A Few Good Men. Who wrote the dystopian novel Brave New World? Aldous Huxley. What is the real name of the artist Lady Gaga? Stefani Joanne Angelina Germanotta. Which Shakespeare play features the characters Rosencrantz and Guildenstern? Hamlet. Who was the original host of the late-night talk show The Tonight Show? Steve Allen. What is the name of the bar that the main characters frequent in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Paddy's Pub. And finally, for 4 points total, which actor received Emmy nominations for playing the same character on 3 shows? Name the actor and the shows. Kelsey Grammer, for Cheers, Wings and Frasier.
Well, my little earthly specimens, I must commend your resilience. Not your intelligence, mind you, just your ability to sit here this long. Like and subscribe for more mental abuse, and I'll see you in the next one. Melvin, out!
Greetings, organic earthly anomalies. Today we examine some of the most vital, world-altering moments in pop culture. Those things that had absolutely no impact on human survival, and yet somehow live rent-free in your brain. Movies, music, celebrities, trends. You know this stuff, or at least you think you do. Let's find out. What comic strip cat loves lasagna? Garfield. Which 1985 film features the quote, "Where we're going, we don't need roads"? Back to the Future. Who hosted American Idol through its Fox run? Ryan Seacrest. What is the name of the fictional secret agent created by Ian Fleming? James Bond. What is the title of the first video game in the Zelda series? The Legend of Zelda. Who voiced Pikachu in the 2019 movie Detective Pikachu? Ryan Reynolds. Who played the character Forrest Gump? Tom Hanks. What long-running game show uses the phrase, "Survey says"? Family Feud. Which band released Abbey Road in 1969? The Beatles. What animated series features a sponge character who lives under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants. What 1994 film is the highest-rated movie of all time on IMDb's Top 250 list? The Shawshank Redemption. What is the name of the fictional kingdom in the Disney movie Frozen? Arendelle. Who wrote and directed Pulp Fiction? Quentin Tarantino. What bridge was moved to Arizona in 1971 after being dismantled? London Bridge. Which video game character's original name was Jumpman. Mario. His debut was in Donkey Kong. Which film features the quote, "Here's looking at you, kid"? Casablanca. Which TV show is set in the fictional city of Westeros? Game of Thrones. What 1988 Tim Burton film stars Michael Keaton as a chaotic poltergeist? Beetlejuice. Which album by Michael Jackson is the best-selling album of all time? Thriller. What long-running reality series features tribal councils and immunity challenges? Survivor. Who starred as Wolverine in Logan, 2017? Hugh Jackman. Who directed The Godfather? Francis Ford Coppola.
On my planet, that would be embarrassing.
Who was the drummer for the band Nirvana and later the frontman for the Foo Fighters? Dave Grohl. What 1984 movie features the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? Ghostbusters. Who wrote the novel and the screenplay for The Princess Bride? William Goldman. What hit song features the lyric, "Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?" Bohemian Rhapsody. What rapper released the album Illmatic in 1994? Nas. Which long-running game show is hosted by Pat Sajak and Vanna White? Wheel of Fortune. What 1993 film stars Robin Williams as a cross-dressing nanny? Mrs. Doubtfire. In the game Minecraft, what is the name of the original default player skin? Steve. What is the real name of the musician known as Sting? Gordon Sumner. Sting's adult son, Joe Sumner, has his own band that has released 4 albums. What is the band called? Fiction Plane. Who played Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter films? Emma Watson. Who created the original Twin Peaks series with Mark Frost? David Lynch. Who hosted The Daily Show from 1999 to 2015? Jon Stewart. What 2007 Pixar film follows a rat who becomes a chef? Ratatouille. What series features characters Rick Grimes and Michonne? The Walking Dead. What actress played Wonder Woman in the 2017 film? Gal Gadot. What David Bowie album features the track Life on Mars? Hunky Dory. The 1998 thriller film titled Apt Pupil was based on a novella by which author? Stephen King. Which pop star's fans are affectionately known as Little Monsters? Lady Gaga. What flavor of Pop-Tarts does Buddy the Elf use in his spaghetti in the movie Elf? Chocolate or chocolate fudge? What video game series stars Master Chief? Halo. What 2014 comedy features The Burn Book? Mean Girls. What streaming series features Demogorgons? Stranger Things. Who directed the film E.T. the Extraterrestrial? Steven Spielberg. What is the real name of the superhero Black Panther? T'Challa. Charles M. Schulz created which comic strip? Peanuts. What 2014 film stars Keanu Reeves as a retired hitman avenging his dog? John Wick. What classic video game introduced the characters Ryu and Ken? Street Fighter. What sitcom features the fictional town of Pawnee, Indiana? Parks and Recreation. In the original Star Trek series, what is the registration number of the Starship Enterprise? NCC 1701. In the game of Clue, or Cluedo, which character is represented by the yellow game piece? Colonel Mustard. What 1984 film marks James Cameron's first major directorial hit? The Terminator. Who sang the 2013 hit Royals? Lord. Who is the author of the Hunger Games trilogy? Suzanne Collins. What superhero's real name is Bruce Banner? The Hulk. Which British heavy metal band is known for the mascot Snaggletooth? Motorhead. What sci-fi movie features the replicants and Rick Deckard? Blade Runner. An ant named Flick is a character in which 1998 Pixar film? A Bug's Life. What sketch comedy show has aired since 1975? Saturday Night Live. What 2007 video game introduced the character Big Daddy? BioShock. What show features the spaceship Serenity? Firefly. Which artist first recorded Like a Rolling Stone? Bob Dylan. What British series features a time-traveling humanoid alien called the Doctor? Doctor Who. Who wrote the original 1983 novel The Colour of Magic? Terry Pratchett. What 1995 crime thriller stars Al Pacino and Robert De Niro as detective and thief? Heat. Who played Tony Soprano in The Sopranos? James Gandolfini. What video game series stars Geralt of Rivia? The Witcher. Who wrote the novel Ready Player One? Ernest Cline. Who directed the original Halloween, 1978? John Carpenter. What 1999 found-footage horror movie popularized viral marketing online? The Blair Witch Project. In The Great Gatsby, what color is the light at the end of Daisy's dock? Green. Who wrote the hit song I Will Always Love You, famously covered by Whitney Houston? Dolly Parton. Name the founding members of rock band Queen. Brian May, Freddie Mercury, Roger Taylor joined by Mike Gross, the first bassist. That's it for this quiz, my little organic snack units. If you got most of these right, impressive. If not, well, pop culture is like that art teacher in high school who thought every painting was awesome, especially in classes after lunch, and his puff puff. Very forgiving and supportive. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and prepare yourself for the next one. Melvin, out! Welcome back, emotionally reactive mammals. This quiz is dedicated to facts you didn't study, didn't need, and somehow remember anyway. Random pop culture trivia from across the years. The kind of knowledge that impresses absolutely no one. Except maybe me if you happen to do really well. Let's begin this deeply unnecessary challenge. Who played Captain Jack Sparrow? Johnny Depp. In the TV series Friends, what is the name of Joey's stuffed penguin? Hugsy, his bedtime penguin pal. What musician released the 1971 album Imagine? John Lennon. What sitcom included the phrase "bazinga"? The Big Bang Theory. What 1986 film stars Tom Cruise as a naval aviator? Top Gun. What Netflix show follows the Bird family's money laundering scheme? Ozark. What is the wizarding newspaper in Harry Potter? The Daily Prophet. What TV show featured the frequent bar patron named Norm? Cheers. Who wrote A Song of Ice and Fire? George R.R. Martin. What 1993 film stars dinosaurs created via DNA cloning? Jurassic Park. What music festival began in 1969 in New York State? Woodstock. Which British comedian created the character Mr. Bean? Rowan Atkinson. Who sang the 1987 hit La Bamba? Los Lobos. Who is the author of the Harry Potter series? J.K. Rowling. What video game series stars a blue hedgehog? Sonic the Hedgehog. What 1994 Disney film features the Pride Lands? The Lion King. What rapper created the album To Pimp a Butterfly? Kendrick Lamar. What 1985 game introduced the character Link? The Legend of Zelda. Who portrayed the bride in the Kill Bill films? Uma Thurman. What series features the spaceship Millennium Falcon? Star Wars. Who voiced Shrek in the DreamWorks films? Mike Myers. Which artist recorded the theme song for the James Bond film Skyfall? Adele. Name the 1977 TV miniseries that was based on an Alex Haley's novel. Roots. Which film features a sports agent yelling, "Show me the money"? Jerry Maguire. What comedy series features actress Leslie Knope? Parks and Recreation. Who voiced Woody in Toy Story? Tom Hanks. The song Cherry Pie was released in 1990 by which glam metal band? Warrant. Which novel by George Orwell gave us the term Big Brother? (1984). In the Matrix film series, what color pill does Neo take? Red. Which country won the very first Eurovision Song Contest in 1956? Switzerland. What is the name of the fictional company that builds the robots in Westworld? Delos Incorporated. What famous fictional archaeologist wears a fedora and uses a bullwhip? Indiana Jones. Who portrayed Black Panther in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Chadwick Boseman. What musical features the song Defying Gravity? Wicked. What global coffee chain originated in Seattle in 1971? Starbucks. What film franchise centers around battles between Autobots and Decepticons? Transformers. The band AC/DC was formed in what Australian city in 1973? Sydney. What horror franchise features the character Freddy Krueger? A Nightmare on Elm Street. Who played Captain Jean-Luc Picard in Star Trek: The Next Generation? Patrick Stewart. Which iconic American candy features a peanut butter center wrapped in chocolate? Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. Which Spanish artist is known for co-founding Cubism? Pablo Picasso. That pause told me everything I need to know. Continue. What TV shows feature detectives Benson and Stabler? Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, SVU, and Law and Order, Organised Crime. Who played Bridget Jones in the UK film series? Renee Zellweger. What UK band is famous for the song Don't You Forget About Me? Simple Minds. What 1987 film says, "Nobody puts baby in a corner"? Dirty Dancing. What sitcom stars Tim Allen as a handyman TV host? Home Improvement. What 1999 movie features the character Tyler Durden? Fight Club. What famous TV family lives in Springfield? The Simpsons. Which band released the song "Come As You Are" as a single in 1992? Nirvana. Which energy drink brand uses a claw mark logo? Monster Energy. Who played James Bond in Casino Royale, 2006? Daniel Craig. Which actress voiced Megara in Disney's Hercules, 1997? Susan Egan. Who wrote the 1988 graphic novel Batman, The Killing Joke? Alan Moore. What 1996 film stars Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt? Mission Impossible. What 1997 sci-fi film features the bug-hunting mobile infantry? Starship Troopers. Who performed the 1980s hit "Take My Breath Away"? Berlin. What 2010 film features the dream heist concept? Inception. What 1985 film features teens stuck in detention on a Saturday? The Breakfast Club. Who played Lara Croft in the 2001 film adaptation? Angelina Jolie. What 1984 film stars Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso? The Karate Kid. Name the TV series that features a biker gang known as Sam Crow. Sons of Anarchy. Who voiced Violet Parr in The Incredibles? Sarah Vowell. What global ride service was founded by Garrett Camp and Travis Kalanick? Uber. What shoe brand produces the Gel Kayano running series? ASICS. Who is the creator of the book The Da Vinci Code? Dan Brown. What Canadian coffee chain is famous for its Roll Up the Rim to Win contest? Tim Hortons, who starred as the titular character in 2004's Hellboy film. Ron Perlman. Kerplunk is a 1991 album by which California band? Green Day. From 2007 to 2010, Holly Hunter played Grace Hanadarko in which TV show? Saving Grace. What popular game features villagers, fossils, and Tom Nook? Animal Crossing. What 1964 film features the character Major Kong riding a nuclear bomb? Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. What animated series features Aang, Katara, and Zuko? Avatar: The Last Airbender. What 1986 sci-fi film stars Sigourney Weaver as Ellen Ripley battling the Xenomorph Queen? Aliens. In the 1981 video game Donkey Kong, Mario was always trying to rescue his girlfriend. What was her name? Pauline. James Earl Jones is the actor who voiced the character of Darth Vader in the original Star Wars trilogy. But which actor was in the costume? David Prowse. And that concludes today's exploration of the pop culture landscape on your little marble. Knowledge that serves no practical purpose and yet somehow refuses to leave your subconscious. If you enjoyed this, there's more waiting. If you didn't, well, you watched to the end anyway, so thanks for that. Melvin, out! Ah yes, pop culture. Wars are fought, empires fall. And yet here you are, being tested on celebrities, movies, music, and moments that somehow mattered more. No judgment, just results. Start guessing. What film features the line, "I'll be back"? The Terminator. What is the name of the Hobbit played by Elijah Wood in the Lord of the Rings trilogy? Frodo Baggins. What band released the album Back in Black? AC/DC. Who played the character of Jack Dawson in the 1997 film Titanic? Leonardo DiCaprio. What fast food chain is known for its finger-lickin' good slogan? KFC. Who played Maximus in Gladiator? Russell Crowe. What 2003 film stars Jack Black as a substitute teacher forming a rock band? School of Rock. What pop duo recorded the 1983 hit Sweet Dreams Are Made of This? Eurythmics. Who played Rip Wheeler in the TV series Yellowstone? Cole Hauser. What streaming series stars Millie Bobby Brown as Eleven? Stranger Things. Which 1998 film is famed for the line, "The Dude Abides"? The Big Lebowski. What TV show started in the fictional advertising agency Sterling Cooper? Mad Men. What pop star released the 2019 album Lover? Taylor Swift. What 1988 film features Eddie Murphy as Prince Akeem? Coming to America. Jigsaw is a character in which horror film franchise? Saw. What animated show features characters Hank Hill and Bobby Hill? King of the Hill. Who was the host of Fear Factor from 2001 to 2006? Joe Rogan. What sitcom features characters Ross, Rachel, Monica, Chandler, Joey, and Phoebe? Friends. Who directed Psycho, 1960? Alfred Hitchcock. What singer released the hit Bad Romance in 2009? Lady Gaga. What pop star performed the halftime show at Super Bowl 49, 2015? Katy Perry, joined by Lenny Kravitz and Missy Elliott. Who directed the 1981 cult horror film The Evil Dead? Sam Raimi. What brand created the first mass-produced jeans? Levi's. Who played Willy Wonka in the 2005 remake? Johnny Depp. What candy brand uses a rainbow-themed slogan, "Taste the Rainbow"? Skittles. What animated film features the character Lightning McQueen? Cars. What Canadian sitcom features the rural town of Letterkenny? Letterkenny. Who played Gandalf in Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings films? Ian McKellen. What 1968 film featured ape characters created through groundbreaking prosthetics? Planet of the Apes. Who performed the theme song for the 1995 Bond film GoldenEye? Tina Turner. Bruce Willis played which character in the Die Hard films? John McClane. What teen series starred Blake Lively as Serena van der Woodsen? Gossip Girl. What classic film features the line, "You talking to me"? Taxi Driver. Which global furniture retailer originated in Sweden in 1943? IKEA. What horror series centers on the demonic doll Annabelle? The Conjuring universe. Who released the 1973 album Goodbye Yellow Brick Road? Elton John. What famous US motorcycle brand features a bar and shield logo? Harley Davidson. What actress starred as Lisbeth Salander in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, 2011? Rooney Mara. What 1982 sci-fi film features the character Roy Batty, played by Rutger Hauer? Blade Runner. Who wrote the 1986 graphic novel The Dark Knight Returns? Frank Miller. Every village has its idiot. I see your village is well represented today. Who wrote the dystopian novel Fahrenheit 451? Ray Bradbury. Which 1979 film starred Mel Gibson as Max Rokitansky? Mad Max. Who released the song Hurt in 1994 before Johnny Cash famously covered it? Nine Inch Nails. What 1995 anime film is centered around the Puppet Master and Section 9? Ghost in the Shell. What 1985 time travel TV series starred Scott Bakula? Quantum Leap. What luxury brand produces the Birkin bag? Hermes. Which actor voiced Batman in the 1990s animated series? Kevin Conroy. What 1995 film stars Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt in a time travel plot? "12 Monkeys." What shoe brand introduced the first mass-market sneaker collaboration with Run DMC? Adidas. What 2016 film stars Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling in a musical romance? La La Land. Who played Michael Corleone in the Godfather trilogy? Al Pacino. What major US brewery makes Budweiser? Anheuser-Busch. What Netflix show features the character Joe Goldberg? You. Who wrote the 1996 fantasy novel A Game of Thrones? George R.R. Martin. What 1992 movie features the character Buffalo Bill? The Silence of the Lambs. What 2010 film stars Natalie Portman as a tormented ballerina? Black Swan. What 1992 film features Wayne and Garth hosting a local public TV show? Wayne's World. Who starred as Jason Bourne in the original Bourne trilogy? Matt Damon. What was the first music video ever played on MTV? Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles. What iconic toy line features action figures like Cobra Commander and Snake Eyes? G.I. Joe. What musician released the 2016 album Black Star shortly before his death? David Bowie. Who voices Gru in the Despicable Me franchise? Steve Carell. What video game franchise features the character Samus Aran? Metroid. What gritty television series features the character Omar Little? The Wire. What 1971 film starred Malcolm McDowell as Alex DeLarge? A Clockwork Orange. Who directed Pan's Labyrinth, 2006? Guillermo del Toro. Who wrote the 2006 novel The Road? Cormac McCarthy. The Canadian sitcom Corner Gas takes place in what province? Saskatchewan. What animated series features Frylock, Master Shake, and Meatwad? Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Which Japanese filmmaker directed Seven Samurai, 1954? Akira Kurosawa. What ancient structure was built as a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu? The Great Pyramid of Giza. What 1991 animated film features Lumiere and Cogsworth? They are the candelabra and mantle clock in Beauty and the Beast. Before forming the band Queen, Brian May and Roger Taylor played together in a band named what? Smile. What actor provided the voice of King Neptune in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, 2004? Jeffrey Tambor. What is the best-selling board game of all time? Chess, most sold overall. Monopoly, best-selling commercial board game brand. Congratulations, content consumers. You've reached the end of another trivia masterpiece. Or was it a mess? Have you successfully proven your mastery of trivia that will never help you in an emergency? Or did you fail at that too? If this brought you joy, consider liking the video and subscribing. There's plenty more unnecessary knowledge ahead. Until the next one, Melvin, out! Today's trivia will test how much of your brain has been permanently occupied by pop culture instead of useful survival information. However, there is a twist. All today's questions are based from across the pond. So if you've never left your hometown and only watched TMZ, you may be in for a smackdown. Still, none of this will help you in an emergency anyway, but you will still be judged harshly. Let's proceed. Which singer created the alter ego Ziggy Stardust? David Bowie. What actor played James Bond the most times in official films? Roger Moore. What Liverpool band became known as the Fab Four? The Beatles. What Doctor Who spin-off show ran from 2006 to 2011? Torchwood. What royal residence is located in downtown London? Buckingham Palace. What band's debut single was Supersonic in 1994? Oasis. Who wrote the novel Never Let Me Go? Kazuo Ishiguro. What Scottish garment is traditionally patterned in tartan? Kilt. Who directed the 1985 fantasy film Brazil? Terry Gilliam. What UK comedy show first used the phrase "computer says no"? Little Britain. What 1980s band popularized new romantic style? Spandau Ballet. Which writer created Winnie the Pooh? A. Milne. What singer released the album 21? Adele. Which comedian created the persona Dame Edna? Barry Humphries. Which Welsh singer performed the Bond theme Thunderball? Sir Tom Jones. Which soft drink mixed pineapple and grapefruit flavors and was discontinued in 2023? Lilt. Which London arena was originally called the Millennium Dome? The O2 Arena. What film series stars Rowan Atkinson as a bumbling secret agent? Johnny English. Which brand makes the famous black spread made from yeast extract? Marmite. What long-running UK soap opera is set in the fictional London borough of Walford? EastEnders. Who directed Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels? Guy Ritchie. What is London's oldest and largest food market? Borough Market. Which musician is the lead singer of Radiohead? Tom York. What British comedy series is set in Warmington-on-Sea during WW2? Dad's Army. The Beeb is a nickname for what? The BBC network. Squashed fly sandwich filling is a nickname for what? The dark, flattened currants sandwiched between two thin layers of biscuit dough in Garibaldi biscuits. What BBC series follows the dysfunctional aristocratic family, the Crawleys? Downton Abbey. What band released the 1981 single Tainted Love? Soft Cell. What chocolate bar is known for its honeycomb center and was originally launched by J.S. Fry & Sons in the UK in 1929? Crunchy. What long-running British sci-fi series features a Time Lord who travels in a blue police box? Doctor Who. Which actor voiced Gollum in The Lord of the Rings? Andy Serkis. What chocolate candy brand used the slogan, "The chocolates that melt in your mouth, not in your hand," in the 1980s? Galaxy Minstrels. What high-end UK store uses the slogan, "Never knowingly undersold"? Retired in 2022. John Lewis. What is a jammy dodger? a shortcake tea biscuit with a jam center. What retailer pioneered the food-to-go convenience lunch category? Marks & Spencer. Who played Sherlock Holmes in the BBC series Sherlock, 2010 to 2017? Benedict Cumberbatch. What old London market is known for antiques and featured in the film Notting Hill? Portobello Road Market. Which metal band released Painkiller in 1990? Judas Priest. Who played Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings films? Ian McKellen. What sitcom follows three priests on a remote Irish island? Father Ted. In what year was Monty Python and the Holy Grail released? (1975). Which UK band released the 1987 single Just Like Heaven? The Cure. Who played the 10th Doctor in Doctor Who? David Tennant. Which show is famous for judging baked goods inside a large white tent? The Great British Bake Off. What music festival is held at Worthy Farm in Somerset? Glastonbury Festival of Contemporary Performing Arts. What Scottish city is the birthplace of J.K. Rowling's writing of Harry Potter? Edinburgh. Which 1969 film features the iconic Mini Cooper chase scene? The Italian Job. What TV show features rounds like Odd One Out and Missing Vowels? Only Connect. Which punk band released the 1977 single Ever Fallen in Love? Buzzcocks.
Is your thought process buffering? Or are you just permanently on the loading screen? For life.
What actress played Queen Elizabeth II in the early seasons of The Crown? Claire Foy.
Which comedian created the character Alan Partridge? Steve Coogan. What iconic UK TV detective drove a vintage Jaguar Mark II? Inspector Morse. Which quiz show uses fingers on buzzers as its starting call? University Challenge. Which actress starred as the White Queen in Alice in Wonderland 2010? Anne Hathaway. Which legendary BBC broadcaster was known as the voice of natural history?
Sir David Attenborough. What Welsh symbol is a vegetable traditionally worn on St. David's Day? Leek. What electronic group created the 1997 album Fat of the Land? The Prodigy. What snack is a puffed corn treat flavored with cheese and is similar to Cheetos? Whatsits. What dystopian novel by Anthony Burgess invented the slang nadsat? A Clockwork Orange. What English city is home to the Royal Shakespeare Company? Stratford-upon-Avon, Warwickshire. What Manchester club was central to the rise of acid house and Manchester? The Hacienda. Which river flows through Oxford and Windsor? River Thames. What phone company is known for its red telephone boxes in British streets? BT, British Telecom. Which singer recorded The Crying Game, 1964? Dave Berry. What chocolate bar is made of crisp wafer, caramel and cereals covered in chocolate? Lion Bar. Which pop star released Different Class with Pulp? Jarvis Cocker. What TV series follows a grumpy doctor in the village of Port Wen? Doc Martin. What BBC Three series launched the careers of Noel Fielding and Julian Barrett? The Mighty Boosh. What Scottish band created the album The Boy with the Arab Strap? Belle and Sebastian. What British condiment is a tomato and vinegar sauce often eaten with chips? Brown sauce. HP sauce. What style of hat is associated with bankers and civil servants? Bowler hat. Which author wrote Brideshead Revisited, first published in 1945? Evelyn Waugh. Which British musician produced the album Sea Change for Beck? Nigel Godrich. Which London shopping street is world famous for its annual Christmas light displays and seasonal decorations? Regent Street. What comic strip character was known as the world's strongest man in the Dandy comic? Desperate Dan. And to the elation of some of the spastics, we're done. Some answers were strong, others were ambitious. Either way, another pop culture test awaits the brave. Or you can get back to those all-important videos of jackass wannabes displaying their high levels of dignity. Melvin, out. Welcome to another round of pop culture trivia, my data-generating mammals. These questions cover moments humanity decided were very important at the time, and only slightly embarrassing now. From iconic to infamous, let's see what stuck, and what absolutely should not have. Begin! What 1980 film features the line, "Here's Johnny"? The Shining. Who voiced Donkey in the Shrek films? Eddie Murphy. Which Irish town gives its name to a 5-line humorous verse? Limerick. What is the name of the popular Japanese food consisting of raw fish over rice? Sushi. Robert Duvall, Marlon Brando, and Harrison Ford all appeared in what movie? Apocalypse Now. What fast food chain uses the slogan, "I'm lovin' it"? McDonald's. What iconic soft drink was introduced in Atlanta in 1886? Coca-Cola. Who wrote the book One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish? Dr. Seuss. Who was known as the King of Swing? Benny Goodman. Which fashion magazine was first published in 1892? Vogue. For what movie did Dan Aykroyd receive an Oscar nomination? Driving Miss Daisy. Name the author who wrote The Catcher in the Rye. J.D. Salinger. Which actress played Katniss Everdeen? Jennifer Lawrence. Which city is known as the Windy City? Chicago. What year did Princess Diana divorce Prince Charles? (1996). The iconic film Gone with the Wind was released in what year? (1939). Which band released the 1985 track Everybody Wants to Rule the World? Tears for Fears. Brothers Simon and Simon, from the TV show by the same name, were in what business? Private detectives. Which comic book hero lives in the city of Metropolis? Superman? Which 1980s movie franchise features a DeLorean time machine? Back to the Future. What TV show takes place in the fictional city of Quahog, Rhode Island? The Family Guy. What classic rock band includes members Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, and John Bonham? Led Zeppelin. What is the name of the company the characters of The Office, UK version, work at? Wernham Hogg Paper Company. How many instruments could Richard Nixon play? Five musical instruments: the piano, saxophone, clarinet, accordion, and violin. Canadian icon Terry Fox's Marathon of Hope raised $24.2 million at the time. How much has his foundation raised so far as of early 2026? $1 billion. Milestone officially surpassed in early February 2026. What traditionally tops the meat in a shepherd's pie? Mashed potatoes. In the Pokemon franchise, what type of Pokemon is Pikachu? Electric. Who played Morpheus in The Matrix? Lawrence Fishburne. Who played Scarlett O'Hara in the film Gone with the Wind? Vivian Lee. What was Balki's home island on the television sitcom Perfect Strangers? Mypos. What late 90s anime series features bounty hunters Spike, Jet, Faye, and Ed? Cowboy Bebop. What sitcom features the character Al Bundy? Married with Children. What superhero uses a device called the Cosmic Treadmill? The Flash. What year did Sid Vicious join the Sex Pistols? (1977). Former actress Kate Capshaw married which film director in 1991? Steven Spielberg. In the film Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, which actor played Ulysses Everett McGill? George Clooney. What two popular TV shows are based in the town of Hooterville? Green Acres and Petticoat Junction. What is the oldest continuously published daily newspaper in America? New York Post. What was on the first ever 12-inch record? Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. What 2010 Christopher Nolan film centers on dream layers? Inception. Name the band that wrote and recorded the Friends theme song. The Rembrandts. What was the first flavor of Lifesavers candy? Peppermint, or Peppermint, 1912. Which 1980s sitcom featured Tom Hanks in drag on a regular basis? Bosom Buddies. What Baseball Hall of Famer was nicknamed Hammerin' Hank? Hank Aaron. Which rapper's real name is Marshall Mathers? Eminem. What popular singer had a chimpanzee named Scatter? Elvis. What film character is known for the line, "My Precious"? Gollum. What 1995 Pixar film was the first full-length computer-animated feature? Toy Story. What American retail giant is known for its yellow smiley face used in price cut campaigns? Walmart. Who played the original Gomez Addams in the 1964 Addams Family TV series? John Astin. On my planet, that would be embarrassing. What 2001 film features the magical school of Hogwarts? Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. What was the name of the 90s TV show starring Jamie Lee Curtis and comedian Richard Lewis? Anything But Love. What 1994 movie features the character Andy Dufresne? The Shawshank Redemption. Who voiced the genie in the original 1992 animated film Aladdin? Robin Williams. What 1997 science fiction film stars Jodie Foster as Dr. Ellie Arroway? Contact. Who holds the record for the most Grammy Awards won by a single artist? Beyoncé. Who directed the 1994 documentary Hoop Dreams? Steve James. Which reality TV show originally aired on CBS in 2000 and is based on the Swedish show Expedition Robinson? Survivor. In the film Fight Club, what is the 8th and final rule of Fight Club? If this is your first time at Fight Club, you have to fight. What 1997 RPG features the character Cloud Strife? Final Fantasy VII. In 1979, Ronnie James Dio became the second vocalist for which band? Black Sabbath. Who wrote the 1984 cyberpunk novel Neuromancer? William Gibson. Who played Annie Wilkes in the 1990 film Misery? Kathy Bates. Which artist painted the official presidential portrait of Barack Obama, unveiled in 2018? Kehinde Wiley. In the movie Mean Girls, what date is famously asked about by Aaron Samuels? October 3rd. What early 2000s animated film features the character Don Lino, voiced by Robert De Niro? Shark Tale. Which Oscar-winning actor's only film as a director was the 1961 western One-Eyed Jacks? Marlon Brando. In Gunsmoke, what did Festus name all of his mules, regardless of gender? Ruth. What 2014 Marvel film features the villain Ronan the Accuser? Guardians of the Galaxy. In film, who is the alter ego of Daniel Hillard? Mrs. Doubtfire. What game series includes the Umbrella Corporation? Resident Evil. Who starred as Mikhail Blomkvist in the 2011 film The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo? Daniel Craig. Which TV show is a mockumentary about some city employees in Pawnee, Indiana? Parks and Recreation. What is the name of the fictional high school in the musical Grease? Rydell High. The CSI franchise had 5 shows: Crime Scene Investigation, Miami, New York, Cyber, and Vegas. How many episodes did those shows air in total? 838 episodes across 39 total seasons.
That wraps things up. If you enjoyed being quietly judged by an alien intellect, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for the next round. This definitely doesn't stop here. Melvin, out! Let's be honest. You've seen these movies, heard these songs, played these games, and followed these celebrities. You just don't know if you remember the details. This quiz is here to expose that gap. Good luck.
What actor played Neo in the Matrix trilogy? Keanu Reeves. What is the subtitle of the second Harry Potter book and movie? The Chamber of Secrets. Which famous band was originally named the Quarrymen? The Beatles. Which actor voiced Genie in Disney's 1992 Aladdin? Robin Williams. Pink Floyd was formed in which year? (1965). What 1997 film stars Tommy Lee Jones as Agent K? Men in Black. What coffee shop do the characters frequent in Friends? Central Perk. Who sings the 2014 hit Shake It Off? Taylor Swift. What French fashion house uses a crocodile as its logo? Lacoste. Who played Edward Scissorhands in the 1990 film? Johnny Depp. What long-running animated series features Stan, Kyle, Cartman, and Kenny? South Park. Which luxury brand is known for its double C logo? Chanel. What video game franchise features Master Sword and the Triforce? The Legend of Zelda. The Trouble with Tribbles is the title of a beloved episode of which TV show? Star Trek. Which actor played the Joker in the 2008 film The Dark Knight? Heath Ledger. What iconic arcade game involves eating dots and avoiding ghosts? Pac-Man. What superhero team includes Iron Man, Thor, and Hulk? The Avengers. Earth's Mightiest Heroes is also technically correct. Which product had commercials featuring Kelly LeBrock saying, "Don't hate me because I'm beautiful"? Pantene shampoo. What was the first commercial feature-length animated movie ever released? Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, 1937. Who played Deadpool in the 2016 film? Ryan Reynolds. What is the highest grossing film of the 1980s? E.T., the Extraterrestrial. What color is the center of a Target store's bullseye logo? Red. Aaliyah is a 1980 hit by which artist? Donny Iris. What 1998 video game first introduced Solid Snake in full 3D? Metal Gear Solid. Who directed the 1990 gangster epic Goodfellas? Martin Scorsese. In Game of Thrones, who is known as the Mother of Dragons? Daenerys Targaryen. Which band released the album On the Border, 1974? Eagles. Who hosted The Tonight Show immediately before Jimmy Fallon? Jay Leno. What company created the first commercial Barbie doll? Mattel. Who is the creator of the Broadway musical Hamilton? Lin-Manuel Miranda. Rock band Cheap Trick was founded in 1973 in which city? Rockford, Illinois. What animated film introduced the characters joy, sadness, and anger? Inside Out. Which artist painted The Starry Night? Vincent van Gogh. In the action superhero genre of movies, MCU stands for what? Marvel Cinematic Universe. Who released the 1984 album Purple Rain? Prince. Which pop star is the godmother of Elton John's two sons? Lady Gaga. What is the name of video game Mario's dinosaur companion? Yoshi. Catherine Middleton married who in April of 2011? Prince William. Who is the creator and host of The Twilight Zone? Rod Serling. David Keel, John Steed, and Emma Peel are fictional characters from which 1960s TV show? The Avengers. Who played the villain Hans Gruber in Die Hard? Alan Rickman. What is the name of the coffee shop where the characters in Seinfeld often meet? Monk's Cafe. Who directed the 1993 film Schindler's List? Steven Spielberg. Which actor voiced Darth Vader? James Earl Jones. What sitcom features Sheldon, Leonard, Penny, and Howard? The Big Bang Theory. Which director created the film Moonrise Kingdom? Wes Anderson.
That pause you just took? That was confidence leaving your body.
Which rapper's real name is Wasalu Muhammad Jacko? Lupe Fiasco. What 2019 film stars Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck? Joker. What British dish includes mashed potatoes mixed with cabbage or kale? Bubble and Squeak. Which reality series on the History Channel features 4 bladesmiths competing to make the best bladed weapon? Forged in Fire. Name the 2011 biographical baseball film about the Oakland A's and their then manager Billy Beane. Moneyball. Ram Jam was a 1970s rock band known for their cover of the Leadbelly song Black Betty. Where were they from? New York City. What 1994 film features the mysterious briefcase carried by Vincent and Jules? Pulp Fiction. What British author created the detective Sherlock Holmes? Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. What iconic toy was invented by George Lerner and released by Hasbro in 1952? Mr. Potato Head. Which director created the 1998 psychological horror film Pi? Darren Aronofsky. Which TV series features the character Ron Swanson? Parks and Recreation. The quote, "Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine," is from which movie? Casablanca, delivered by Humphrey Bogart. What actress played Dr. Ellie Sattler in the original 1993 Jurassic Park? Laura Dern. What 1999 sci-fi comedy features the Thermians and Commander Taggart? Galaxy Quest. What American clothing company popularized the polo shirt with a small embroidered horse? Ralph Lauren. What 2006 film features magician rivals played by Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman? The Prestige. Who directed the cult classic They Live, 1988? John Carpenter. Name the street artist who formed the Obey streetwear clothing brand around his artwork. Shepard Fairey. Which 1980s neo-expressionist artist would often paint while wearing Armani suits, then be seen later in the same paint-splattered suits? Jean-Michel Basquiat. What 2014 film stars Jake Gyllenhaal as a freelance crime videographer? Nightcrawler. Who created the TV series BoJack Horseman? Raphael Bob Waxberg. The 1920 film The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari is cited as the first film to have what? a twist ending. Who composed the score for the 1982 film Blade Runner? Greek electronic musician Vangelis. Who composed the music for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? Ennio Morricone. What video game first introduced the character Sephiroth? Final Fantasy VII. What iconic UK holiday tradition involves pulling a tube-shaped paper object that pops? Christmas crackers. What 2017 horror film by Jordan Peele introduced the sunken place? Get Out. Bon Jovi's song She Don't Know Me holds a unique distinction from all the band's other work. What is it? The only song that was not at least co-written by a member of the band. Final question, a follow-up to the previous. Who wrote She Don't Know Me that appeared on the first Bon Jovi record? That was Mark Avsek, who also co-wrote the song Ah Leah from earlier.
And that brings us to the end. You survived another pop culture trivia session, emotionally intact, intellectually tested. Like, subscribe, and move on to the next video before your brain starts pretending this knowledge is important. Until next time, Melvin, gone! And that wraps that right up now, doesn't it? 10 episodes of mindless trivia of random pop culture tidbits that have somehow managed to reside inside your grey matter, taking up valuable real estate that could be used to perhaps, cure cancer or something. Never mind. Who was I kidding? Regardless, we hope you had fun and welcome you back for the next 10. See you there. Melvin, gone.
The clock is ticking on your evolution. Choose your next interrogation from the boxes on screen before I initiate a system wipe. Join the Brain Trust if you want even more goodies, or just subscribe and remain a happy little fact fritter. Tick-tock, meat slider. Tick-tock.